You know those questions that sound so simple, almost like a kid would ask them, but when you really start to think about it, they just unfold into something way more complex and amazing? Well, we're going to dive into one of those today.
So let's just put it out there. What is the absolute farthest thing that we as humans have ever touched? Just take a second. What's the first thing that pops into your head?
Okay, whatever answer you have in mind, hold on to it, because I can almost guarantee that it's only one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. You see, the word touch is wonderfully slippery, and the journey to the real answer, well, it's got some incredible twists. Let's start with the most obvious one first.
Right. So let's start with the most direct, human definition of touch. We're talking about our own skin, or at least a gloved hand, making contact with another world.
If touch means skin and pressure and a human heartbeat right there on the scene, then our farthest reach is, still, the moon. Between 1969 and 1972, 12 Apollo astronauts did just that. I mean, they felt the crunch of lunar dust under their boots, they handled tools covered in the stuff, and they left behind those boot prints that will probably outlast our entire civilization.
At about 384,000 kilometers away, the moon is our closest celestial neighbor. But it's the only other world we have ever physically, personally handled, so far anyway. That's the limit of our grasp. But what happens if we decide to extend our hands?
And this is where the question starts to get really, really interesting. If we broaden our definition of touch to include our robotic proxies, our mechanical stand-ins, the story changes completely.
I mean, think about it. When a machine that we built lands on solid ground somewhere else in the solar system, haven't we, in a way, touched that place?
So, meet our new champion, the Huygens probe. On January 14, 2005, this amazing little lander parachuted down through the thick orange haze of Saturn's biggest moon, Titan. It settled onto a surface of water ice pebbles in a mind-numbing minus 179 degrees Celsius. For just a few hours, it touched a truly alien shore.
And just look at that jump in distance. We went from 384,000 kilometers to 1.4 billion kilometers. By sending a robot, we extended our reach by a factor of thousands. It is still the most distant soft landing humanity has ever pulled off.
That is an absolutely incredible record. But here's the next twist in the story. What if, instead of going out to touch something, we bring something from far, far away home to us?
This brings us to the world of sample return missions, where we can literally touch pieces of the cosmos right here in our labs on Earth. It's like we're compressing these vast distances into a tiny vial of dust.
And man, have we gotten good at it. Missions like Stardust, Hayabusa, and OSIRIS-REx have pulled off these incredible smash-and-grab operations on comets and asteroids, bringing back whispers from the very dawn of our solar system. But you know what? Nature was mailing us samples long before we ever learned to go get them ourselves.
Inside meteorites that have fallen to Earth, scientists have found these microscopic things called pre-solar grains. These are tiny crystals, like little bits of silicon carbide and graphite, that formed in the atmospheres of dying stars or in the explosions of ancient supernova, before our own sun was even born. Under a microscope, we have literally touched stardust.
Okay, but what if touch isn't about touching a thing at all? What if it's about feeling a brand new environment? You know that moment an instrument we built physically crosses into a new medium, like dipping your hand into a river for the very first time?
For this definition, there is only one champion, Voyager 1. Launched way back in 1977, this incredible probe has been flying for decades. And on August 25, 2012, it did something historic. It crossed the heliopause. That's the boundary where the sun's influence finally ends and the vast space between the stars begins.
We're talking over 24 billion kilometers from home. The scale is it's honestly hard to even wrap your head around. But how did it touch this new place?
Well, Voyager's sensors essentially translated data into sensation. They felt the change. The density of charged particles around it suddenly jumped, the magnetic field changed direction, its plasma wave instrument even started to hear the hum of interstellar plasma, a totally different tone than the one inside our little solar bubble. It's like we dipped our fingers into the ocean between the stars.
So after all that, what is the final answer? The truth is, there isn't just one. It's more like a constellation of answers, and each one is completely true in its own way.
Let's just break it all down. The farthest a human hand has reached? The moon. The farthest soft landing by one of our machines? Titan. The most alien material we've ever held? That's pre-solar stardust from outside our solar system. The farthest human object? That's Voyager 1, out there tasting the interstellar medium. And you know what? Let's add one more. The deepest we've ever touched a stellar environment? That belongs to the Parker Solar Probe, which is literally flying through the sun's corona right now. Every single one is a record holder.
I think this quote just captures the spirit of it all perfectly. Each of these amazing achievements represents a different kind of reach, right? A different form of human ingenuity. We just keep finding new ways to make contact with what would otherwise be completely untouchable, translating distance into knowledge.
So the story of our farthest touch, it's a moving target. We've already dipped our toes into the cosmic ocean, and it just leaves you wondering, doesn't it? Where will our curiosity, our ingenuity, and our very, very long hands learn to take us next?